Hello and welcome to this tutorial on the latest changes to Contact Plus Professional. That's 3.9.7.5, and I recorded this in August of 2009. So I'm going to look at a few of the more recent changes. As you can see on the screen here, we have the email tab highlighted. We've also duplicated the email address up here in the right area of the screen. This is email 1. So you'll see it in two places. You can make changes to either field, and it'll affect, of course, both of them. They'll are mirror images of each other. So whatever one you want to edit, that's perfectly fine. The next thing we did here on this version, if you click on Setup, Global, Word Processor, we've kind of deprecated older versions of the Word interface. So we're encouraging people, if you have Word 2000 and up, to use this new interface. Now this means you will have to re-edit your form letters, your source form letters, because the forms are a little bit different. We have a tutorial on that and how to do that. I'm not going to cover that here, but what it does for you basically is keeps you away from all the security issues we had in the past with macros. So we no longer use macros in doing mail merges with Word. We use another function built into Word, and it works really nice. The other thing with this new version is you can have multiple copies of Word running, and we don't have a problem with that anymore. The next thing is under letter naming. If especially you're on a network, or if you're using Smart Merge, we suggest that you have this check, that you add 3 more characters, and that would be the initials that you'd want to put in addition to the letter name. So if you have 2 people writing a letter to John Doe, user ABC and user DEF, the letters will be named differently, so you'll have less chances of conflicting each other when you're generating letters. Again, this is more of a Smart Merge issue, not a network issue. On this main screen, if I go to the Phone tab, I have the ability to quickly swap phone numbers around if you have the need to move these things around rather than copy, paste, clear, and retype. You can really quickly swap, like I can swap phone number 1 with fax really easy just by clicking the swap, and we can save that here if we'd like. So that can be unchecked, and if you really don't want to bother with it, just uncheck it, and these options will be grayed out fairly well. Up in the upper left corner, we have a status here. Now we updated these little status indicators. It'll tell you how long it's been for a meeting to come up. These are all pending things. So if you had a meeting that was in the past, it's not going to appear in this count. It will appear in the event history, but it won't appear in the count here. But what this number tells you, let's say has 51 days, it tells you how old the contact is. And it used to just be all numbers, but now it's days, months, weeks, years. And so you can quickly scroll through your list of contacts, and you can see just how old people are. If I click on Setup, Global, and then Age Colors, we can change the ages of people, or what this is going to look like as we go through, and of course we can mark those people that are old. The other thing that's good to do is you can change how you want to determine how old a person is. You know, it could be based on the last note, or the last phone call that you made to them, or even typing in, changing the actual contact. For example, changing a status or a phone number, anything like that on the main screen that's not event related would be considered a contact change. What we also did here is in the lower right corner, you have a new Mark All button. So if you click on that, you'll have some more options: Mark All, Unmark All, and Navigate. So go ahead and use those. You could get to those earlier in prior versions, but you'd have to go into the Edit menu. There you have your Mark, Unmark, and you can even save the set and restore the set of marked records. So that's still there, but this is just kind of a quick way to get to it from the main screen. Now all these are now buttons, as you can see at the bottom. You can click on, for example, the name of the database, and it gives you all your databases. You'll see here at the bottom a new count, the total number of events and notes, the count of the number of contacts, and how many contacts are marked in all your databases. So you'll see that on the screen as well. So that was a new change. As far as the buttons go, we can change the appearance. If we go to the Setup menu, Screen, then Screen Appearance, we have a new tab here called Button Colors. So what I can do is change this, say, to Office Blue, and let's uncheck that Use Transparent. So this is what it's going to look like as I mouse over, or if I go to Office Silver. If I click OK on that, you'll see how all the buttons have changed, the ones above and the ones below, and pretty much most of the screens. If you want to get rid of the outline and the buttons at the top, I just say Transparent Function Buttons. Click that, and you'll see they kind of go away, and you can, it'll look like the system looked like a long time ago. So feel free to use this. Now this is set up on a per user basis, not on a per database basis. So you'll be setting your colors for your workstation, okay, and it won't affect anyone else. Now this is a nice feature that we just added. It's the ability to have an automatic backup on exit. Now if you click on File, Administrative Options, and then Reset Backup Warning Options, if you're not seeing a warning option when you exit Contact Plus, it's because you've told it in the past to not show you. Well, let's reset it. Now when I exit Contact Plus, I'll get a new screen here, a backup reminder, and I have options, and we added this new checkbox, Attempt to Backup on Exit. As you can see here, it says if you're the last person on, that's if you're on a network, or if you're a single user, obviously you're going to be the last person on. Now when you exit Contact Plus with this option, so what I could do here is I could just say never remind to backup, just do it if I'm the last person on. And I'll click exit, and there it comes. Here comes the backup program. Now I can make a separate backup. So if you're on a network and you're not the last person on, in other words, there's 2 or 3 other people that are still using Contact Plus, they're still logged on, you will not get the automatic backup. It just won't show up when you exit. So it's kind of a hit or miss if you're running a network system, and if you're running the single user system, you'll always have it. But we still recommend that you would make regular backups. We have customers in the recent past that just didn't have any backups at all. Another thing that we did is on the Events tab, as you can see here, if you look here at the bottom, under the Summary and under the Memo, we have a summary or total of all of our events. We have 10 events, for example, 0 notes, 6 letters, 2 calls, 1 to-do, 1 meetings. It gives us our quotes and any sales, like this guy has a sale, and it'll give us a total here. So that's kind of handy. We did the same thing also when switching databases. You'll see the totals here at the bottom, the number of contacts in the database, how many databases you have, and how many of those databases are marked. The other thing we did in this version is the hot-cold indicator. Up in the upper left corner you see a +1, +2, +3. That of course corresponds to if this is a hot or cold contact or a client, you know, prospect. The screen will change colors if you want it to, and that's controlled under the Setup, Global, Hot, Cold colors, and you can set your colors here, and it'll color the entire screen. If I say let's uncheck that, it'll just make the colors right there in that little status if you don't want to see colors on the entire panel. The next feature we put into Contact Plus has to do with data corruption. It will not allow you now to delete a database that you're currently in. So if I try to delete the current database, it'll just give me an error message. And this is a nice thing to keep your data, the integrity set up properly.